Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. On today's episode of Prime, we're going to wake down week number 12 so far. So if you want to miss that content, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And I forgot to update this graphic. What is going on? But yeah, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm your host, David On Point Huffman. There's my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And from the Daily Blitz.blog, our good friend and brother, Mr. Christian Simpson, who had a very fun Thanksgiving, it looked like. Or was it, Thanksgiving, as you were out by the Macy's parade. Also hung out with the guys from the Fox pregame show. That's pretty damn cool. Quick shout out to you for your prediction to the Houston Jaguar game as well, by the way. Good call on that. 3 point, you were off by, you get the final score by 3, but just off a little bit. But yeah, good stuff right there. But yeah, welcome into the show, gentlemen. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. And you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I went down on a vacation to Los Angeles. I enjoyed Thanksgiving with my family and stuff. So yeah, it was nice. My time away was very well deserved and needed. So,
There you go.
but let's get right into it. And TJ, how was your Thanksgiving?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not waste any time.
Answer him.
It's all good. It's all good. Let's start in the NFC North, and we start on Thanksgiving as we had 3 games on Thanksgiving. None of them were particularly entertaining or close. The Packers-Lions game was not as close as the final score entails. As Packers won this game 29-22. Jordan Love threw for 3 touchdowns. A.J. Dillon ran for 40 yards. Christian Watson had his best game of the season with a touchdown. Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft also had touchdowns. On the Lions side, Jared Goff had 3 fumbles in this game. He also threw for 2 touchdowns. Dave Montgomery punched one in, and Sam Laporta and Josh Reynolds had touchdowns for the Detroit Lions, as they kind of left a little much to be desired for this game, as Detroit comes up short on Thanksgiving for, I think, the 7th year in a row.
7th year in a row.
Yeah.
They have lost 7 straight on Thanksgiving. Yeah, they. I'm not gonna say the Bears, quote unquote, gave the blueprint on how to beat Detroit. I'm not going that far yet. Whoever they play in their next game, if they come out and struggle in that game, then you can start to have those conversations. But the one thing that is true and for sure is this is 2 straight games where Jared Goff looked like the Jared Goff that got shipped out of LA. That much is true. Turning the ball over.
Two games in a row where he's responsible for 3+ turnovers. Yeah.
I think at one point in time, the graphic was on the TV. They had turned the ball over 6 times in the last 5 quarters or something like that.
Yeah. They've had 6 turnovers in the last 3 games, or last 2 games.
That's not winning football, and this is what stirs up the old narratives about the Detroit Lions. The whole "Lions gonna lion" quote. That's games like this. This is why that exists. This is why no one has taken them seriously. Right? You get blown out the waters by Baltimore. You lose a game at home against Seattle. You let a Bears team, if it wasn't for piss poor coaching, you let them jump out on you, and then now you got a Green Bay team who's also Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, depending on the week. You let them come into your house and punch you in the mouth and then look back. Like, to your point, the final score was not – that does not indicate a close game. They got their ass kicked this game.
Yeah, down 29-14 at one point in this game. They did score a touchdown towards the end, but that was as close as it ever got. Christian.
Yeah, one thing the Lions have to realize, just because you play from behind, it doesn't mean you're always going to get back into the game. And I think you saw that on Thursday. That was the prime example of it. But, man, I'm just kind of shaking my head and just kind of pointing at Dan Campbell, because he decided to go for it. I think it was, 4th down on his own 22-yard line.
Multiple times when he could kick a field goal.
Right. Look, you can't do things like that if you want to win football games. You're asking to lose the game right then and there. As for Green Bay, that's the best I've seen Jordan Love look all year long. He looked comfortable. He looked poised, made throws in the pocket, extended plays, hit his receivers in stride. Good win for the Packers.
Great win for them.
Yep, and it kind of keeps them playoff hopes alive there for the Green Bay Packers. If they can beat Kansas City this week, that door is wide open for them to potentially be a playoff team this year, which would have been crazy to think about even 2 weeks ago. To the other beatdown on Thanksgiving, the Dallas Cowboys put up 45 points against the Washington Commanders, who could only muster 10. Sam Howell still threw for 300 yards, but he took him 44 pass attempts to do it. Brian Robinson, 53 yards rushing. Curtis Samuel had a solid game here, 9 catches for 100 yards. And Dak Prescott quietly put himself into the MVP conversation, threw for 300 yards, threw for 4 touchdowns. Tony Pollard had a rushing touchdown, and everybody had receiving touchdowns that you could think of. Brandon Cook and CeeDee Lamb being the main 2 targets for the Dallas Cowboys as they won this game pretty handily and easily.
Christian?
Yeah, Dak continues to play some of the best football I think I've ever seen him play. He's in control, and I told TJ this a couple weeks ago. The reason why he's so successful right now is because he's doing just enough. He's not doing too much, nor is he doing too little. He's depending on the running game, and the play action is helping open up the field in the passing game. Yeah, this is a nice win for the Cowboys. They beat who they were supposed to beat.
I mean, you have Tony Pollard averaging 6.1 yards per carry. I mean, that's good production right there. They only ran the ball 18 times, but they got 100 yards rushing in those 18 carries.
On those 18, right. Also, shout out to DeRon Bland, 5th pick 6 of the season. DeRon Bland has, like Dak, has thrown himself into the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
It's crazy that he wasn't even starting until Trayvon Diggs got hurt, and then he was their nickel corner for majority of the year, and he goes down, and now he's going to be DPOY potentially.
He's 100% in the conversation. This was one of those, if you're Washington, you tried to hang in as long as you could, and for a minute there, you were it was 14-10 with a minute 51 left, and then Dallas said, "Hey, no, nail in the coffin, 2-minute drill. We going up 2 scores again, and we ain't looking back." You gave up 25 points in the 4th. Of that 25, the final quote unquote nail in the coffin was the DeRon Bland 63-yard pick 6. But by that point, the game was already over. It was 36-10. They wanted for to come back in 6 minutes.
Defensive coordinator got fired after this game for the Washington Commanders. This is what happens when your defense gives up 36 points. So,
and quiet as kept. Christian, you remember when Izzy asked, "Could Dak win MVP?"
Yeah,
and we both said no. We both said we agree he's not going to win it, but let's be real about something, and we'll get to this game later. And this team, this entire season, he's outplayed Jalen Hurts.
Oh, absolutely. Nah, he definitely has. But my thing with Dak is, okay, you're doing this in the regular season. Do it when it matters most, which is in the playoffs. That's
at the same time, we can't hold him to that standard because the MVP it's a regular season award. At the end of the day, we can't be like, "Oh, he didn't do it in the playoffs, so it's not." It invalidates him.
Right.
Also, what do you guys make of the whole turkey leg Jordan Love fiasco? The fact that they didn't have a turkey for him. Have you guys heard the rumors that they were so sure the Lions were going to win and that they seared the Lions logo into the turkey before the game started, or that Greg Olsen destroyed the turkey that was supposed to go to them before the game? I don't know if you guys have been following that stuff at all.
I have not heard any of that. But
me neither.
If the Lions one is true that they seared the Lions logo into the turkey, then the NFL needs to do something about that because
they had the whole interview after the game. We're like, "Oh, we don't have a turkey." Like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Oh wait, we don't have a turkey leg for you."
How ironic is it that we don't have a turkey? Like, why not?
On John Madden weekend, I'm famous for the turducken. They just don't have.
They just magically don't have one. Okay, cool story.
Yeah, so it was just strange.
I think Christian's having some issues over there. We'll let him join. Let's go.
Moving on from there, we talk about the nightcap there on Thanksgiving. San Francisco 49ers going into Lumen Field there in Seattle and putting up 31 points as they beat down Seattle pretty handily, 31-13. Brock Purdy, 21-30, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Christian McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns in this game. Deebo Samuel had another. Brandon Ayuk had the lone receiving touchdown. And Geno Smith, not a great game for him by any stretch of the imagination. He threw the 1 interception. TJ Dallas did have the 1 fumble. Zach Charbonnet got the start for Kenneth Walker being out. 47 yards for him. And Jackson Jigba, 2 catches, 41 yards. And this offense could just really never get it going there for the Seattle Seahawks. And San Francisco won easily as all 3 games on Thanksgiving were kind of clunkers. Welcome back into the show, Christian Simpson.
Yeah. The Niners got home 6 times. Christian brings this point up all the time. Even with like even before the addition of Chase Young, they never really needed the blitz because they can get home with just four. Like those guys are just that damn good. This game went about how you expected it to go. Like the better team with the better players won, right? And now all of a sudden, here come the the Brock Purdy folks. Like, oh, he told y'all he was elite. No, he just has everybody back. That's it. That's all. Debo's back. Trent Williams is back. McCaffrey's not what you call it. He's not hurt anymore. Like, yeah, that's all it is. The the offensive attack in Seattle is kind of what I've been asking for. 27 pass attempts, 21 rush attempts. This was just not the this was just not the team to allow them to be great. Like like San Fran is just like, I don't care what you're doing. It's just not gonna work. You don't have the horses.
Christian.
You know what's crazy, David? I previewed this one on the site last week.
On the Daily Blitz blog, if you were wondering.
There you go. And I had San Fran winning this game 28-13. Like, damn. Look, San Fran was just a much better team.
That's
Seattle needs to burn those green uniforms and never wear those shits again. Look, I'm just being honest. I mean, San Fran did everything they were supposed to do. They dominated the line of scrimmage. They established themselves at the line. They were physical in the trenches, and TJ brought up my point. They don't blitz to get home. They have faith in that front four that they can just get that push and that penetration up front, and they do it.
And they've added Chase Young and Randy Gregory to an already potent defensive line. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's unreal. Like, for real.
I mean, like they held Seattle to 220 total yards of offense. 220 total. You got games where folks get 220 in the first quarter or quarter and a half. Like, it's just not fair. Like, really.
Moving on from Thursday, let's talk about Friday afternoon football, as this was Amazon Prime's. Basically, their Super Bowl is they put this game. I don't understand why they put this game out at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was just a bunch of baffling decisions by the NFL when it comes to this particular matchup. But Miami Dolphins win this game 34-13. Just really not a lot to talk about, other than Tua kind of struggling in this game a little bit. He did throw 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Raheem Mostert had 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had a touchdown. And Tim Boyle, let me tell you what, man. Tim Boyle is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, he just isn't. Like,
no.
He never should be in the NFL. Have you ever looked at his like touchdown to interception ratio in college?
Yes,
it's like 1 to 2 picks to touchdowns. Like, it's unreal. Like, how did this guy end up in the NFL? But yeah, the Jets, they got beat down. And Christian, this is in your backyard. Thoughts?
Look, I ain't even watched the game. I was in New York City. I've never seen that many Dolphin fans in my life. I didn't even know they had fans. You know, there's that question: should Aaron Rodgers come back? No, he shouldn't. Just take this L, bro.
Just take this
Seriously,
L, man.
Stay down. Seriously, just look. Your team's not going to the playoffs.
But they're still
the Dolphins did what they were supposed to do. You know, I'm sure Kirk Herbstreit probably wanted to leave for Ann Arbor at halftime because he had better things to do. I would have called the game for him with Al Michaels and his all 5-minute ass broadcasting. Like, he's all late on the play. But look, Miami did what they were supposed to do, and that's beat up on a bad team because that's all they've done this year.
Yeah, they were talking on the Kirk Herbstreit was talking on the broadcast about ways the Jets could win the game, and this was I think this was the second interception. Yeah, this was the second interception Tua threw, right? And he goes like, "See that? There it is. That's how they're going to win this game. The defense has to basically play out of their minds."
I mean, that's what it's been like this entire season
for 4 quarters. And David and Christian, to an extent, we know it better than anybody, right? We've seen our favorite teams. We've seen our teams have great defenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen our like the Bears and the Giants, respectively. We've seen our teams have great defenses, but offenses wet the bed, and then eventually, what happens? Defense get tired. They can't do it anymore. And to sum up the Jets season, this should never happen. A pick six off a Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary is what they're calling it.
Literally
It's
should
the
never happen
longest touchdown completion of the season.
for the Jets. Yes,
Just in general for any team.
like a pick six off a Hail Mary should never. And mind you, this is after they got the second interception and they couldn't move the ball. And it's like, all right, we're gonna see how far Tim Boyle can throw. And he got it down there, but the other team intercepted it and took it all the way back.
It's the first time in the history of the NFL where a Hail Mary has been returned back for the house.
First time in
Ever.
NFL history ever.
The Hail Mary is what they're calling it.
Which makes my statement of a pick six off a Hail Mary should never happen, because it's never happened until this past Friday. It's I don't care how many players, and we spent too much time on this. Like, I don't care how many players only meetings you can have, and with the Jets, Robert Saleh is likely out of a job after this.
He looks miserable.
He looks miserable.
He's probably a great coach, but he looks miserable.
Christian, you got the local aspect of this. Are they talking about firing Salah like on New York radio? Is that the vibe you getting?
Yeah, definitely. I hear it all the time. Yeah, he looks miserable. I'll sign up for.
We'll get to a cut coach looking miserable and being out of a job. Like, let me tell you, in a minute here, a couple minutes.
And they sacked him 7 times. And they sacked him 7, and Tim Boyle got sacked 7 times, bro. Like, you want to bring Aaron Rodgers back to that? Like, come on.
Let's move on. Let's move away from Friday. Let's talk about Sunday afternoon football. Let's first start down in Georgia with the Atlanta Falcons beating the New Orleans Saints 24-15 as Derek Carr struggles again in this game. 300 yards passing, but he threw a bad pick six for 95 yards. Or 92 yards for Jesse Bates, who's been awesome for the Atlanta Falcons. And Bijan Robinson kind of had his coming out party here a little bit in this game. 2 touchdowns for the Atlanta Falcons. I do not – how did Desmond Ridder become the starter for the Falcons again? Did Taylor Heineke get hurt? Because I didn't see anything about it. But he didn't play well in this game either. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Without Bijan Robinson, Atlanta Falcons do not win this game.
No, they don't. Yeah, absolutely right. But – I want to start with New Orleans first, because they're such a weird football team. Like, I don't think there's been a moment this year where they've looked complete from the first 15 minutes to the final 15 minutes. I think they also need to get rid of Dennis Allen.
There was a game, but this team was also not very good who they did it against.
I know, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, there was that one game, but this team's not good. So
but the Saints just they haven't been able to hit that switch, and and really keep it going and play consistent football. If anything, they've been consistently inconsistent. And Dennis Allen is not the guy for this job. He needs to go.
He probably fired you.
He needs to go. Good win for the Falcons. Bijan Robinson was all over the field, and that that touchdown pass that he caught. Look, you want to put a linebacker on a running back in man-to-man coverage? I'm taking that matchup every time, and it's gonna be the running back winning that battle 9 times out of 10.
We probably looking at a situation where a division literally fires all 4 coaches. I've never seen that before. I legit think I think every coach in the NFC South, one's already gone, loses their job.
I agree with you. Even if the Falcons make the playoffs, they've underachieved in my opinion.
And to your point, David, like Falcons fans out there, they want Ritter gone. That kind of falls on coaching because why aren't you developing this kid? Like you benched him for a reason, right? You benched him for a reason, and then
And
you brought him.
if I'm all reporting, Tyler Heineke's not hurt. Like I don't like I know he didn't play well either, but like at some point you have to be like, let's get a legit like let's call Matt Ryan and be like, hey, you want to get? I know he's having a good time in the booth, but like you want to like give this a go with like how good our offensive line is right now, how potentially good this defense is. Like
Or
they cannot.
at least come in and work with the kid. Like do something.
Yeah,
Do something.
yeah, do something.
But yeah, if you're New Orleans, it's just one of those games where it's like you had your opportunities. You had them. You had them. And then for whatever reason, the minute you're threatening and you get to that red zone, what do? Turn the ball over, all right? Or you come up short, or you fail a conversion. Your points came off of field goals. Your kicker kicked what? 5 field goals?
Five field goals. Yeah, they didn't get a single touchdown in this game.
No,
Pretty rare in today's NFL to not even get one touchdown.
I mean
Even
sucks.
even the Jets got one.
And like it sucks. You lose Chris Olave at some point during the game, so that option being gone definitely helped the Falcons because it's like
Michael Thomas is on IR. I mean, what do they have besides that?
like Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed, like he's really just a deep threat.
Yeah.
At Perry is what he is. Juwan Johnson, I think he had a touchdown, but he dropped it. And Taysom Hill, it's like, oh, your top 2 guys are gone. It's like, oh, key in on Alvin Kamara. Don't let nobody. And if you lose the game to the Saints with A.T. Perry, Keith Kirkwood, Juwan Johnson, Rashid Shaheed having the game of their lives, there's nothing you can do. You just walk to the middle of the field, say good game, and see it down the road.
Moving on from this, let's talk about another battle in the AFC North. We had Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Cincinnati Bengals and Jake Browning. It's just not a lot to talk about here. Kenny Pickett did not throw a touchdown or a pick.
There's a lot to talk about this game.
Najee Harris did have 15 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown. Pratt Freiermuth went over the century mark with the receiving. Jake Browning, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Joe Mixon, only 11 carries for Joe Mixon in this game, or as a team. They only ran the ball 11 times in this game. Jamar Chase, 4 for 81. Also, Deontay Johnson getting a lot of crap this afternoon after he basically did not react at all to that fumble. It is possible he didn't know it was a fumble, but it's not a good look when the ball's like right in front of you and you're just walking off the field. But Pittsburgh does win this game. They keep their playoff hopes alive. They're 7-4. Cincinnati, this is a tough loss.
There's a lot to talk about with the Steelers. Christian, what did the Steelers do for the first time in what was it, 58 games or something like that?
They accounted for 400 yards of total offense, and that was the thing I was looking forward
milestone.
Seeing, yeah, that was the thing I was looking forward to seeing from the Steelers, David and TJ. How were they going to be able to push the ball up and down the field? And this was the most consistent that it's been, and God knows how long. Kenny Pickett looked comfortable. They ran the ball, found Freiermuth on a lot of mismatches with safeties over the top and trying to put linebackers on him, and he's going to win that battle every single time. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the AFC North is a 2-team race between Baltimore and Pittsburgh at this point.
Yeah. Also,
TJ, you need to stop.
Swole guy, 2 white men.
Boy, you need to stop.
Also, all right. So if you're in Cincinnati, I just want to know what was the game plan, because it couldn't have been give the ball to Joe Mixon 8 times for 16 yards.
you got Jake Browning as your quarterback, right? Like you think you want to ride the running game, but no, you're only going to give him 8 carries in a game that was close the entire way. Like I don't understand that decision making.
On the flip side, if I'm Pittsburgh, 9 in the box, 9. All right, I am going to make Joe Mixon's life a living hell. I am going to force them to put the ball into Jake Browning's hands and beat me with his arm. right? Because all you did was switch out QBs. The line is still there for the most part. All three receivers are there. You still got Joe Mixon, and you still got did he play? You got Irv Smith Jr. at tight end, Drew Sample at tight end. Yeah, the full complement of weapons is still there. You just substituted the quarterback. So yeah, first off, shout out to Mike Tomlin. It's official. He's not going to have a losing season this season. Like that much is clear. He's yet to have one. And still a faithful. Be grateful you got that man. That's all I'm gonna say. Be grateful. Stop.
He's 7-4. He still could have a losing season if they lose out.
No.
Hey, don't put that bad juice out there.
I'm just saying.
Well, okay. Hold on. Let's just look at this. Right. So, they could lose out, David. Right. Okay. Cardinals, Patriots.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's 9 wins right there.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the game that cost Frank Reich his job as he got fired only 11 games into the season. That man just looked miserable on the sidelines. He looked like he aged like 10 years between his Colts and when he got fired today. But yeah, Carolina falls 17-10 to the Tennessee Titans. This game was in Tennessee or in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. Bryce Young continues to just be kind of just met at the quarterback position. 18 of 31. Chuba Hubbard 14 for 45 and a touchdown. Jonathan Minga 4 for 60. On the Titans side, Will Levis 18 of 28. Derrick Henry got in the touchdown, got the end zone twice, and DeAndre Hopkins, leading receiver for the Tennessee Titans. But all anybody really wants to talk about, because I'm not sure the game is that relevant. Carolina Panthers part ways with Frank Reich. Was this the right decision? Yes or no?
No, it's not, because well, first off, there is one thing I want to talk about the game, and it's not even it's the season in general. Christian,
Mm-hmm.
when did Tommy DeVito get into the situation, get thrown into the fray with the Giants?
Last
Like,
week.
no. What was it, like 2-3 weeks ago now?
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
He's played 2 games.
He has more touchdown passes than Bryce Young.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Now, fast forward to this. This is one of those situations where this is not a good job, right? This is not a good job. The Bears' job is not a good job, and it's nothing to do with the coaching. It's the head honchos. David Tepper is terrible. I would and me and David, we semi got into it earlier. I'm like I wouldn't touch. Like, if I was NFL personnel, right? I don't care. Like, I would legit wait for the right opportunity to become a head coach. If I'm an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, whoever, I would like. And the Carolina Panthers come calling me talking about, hey, we'll offer you the head coaching job. I don't want it. Why? Because I'm not gonna have the autonomy that you promised me. All right. First things first.
That rule, they give him a 5-year contract. They fire him after 2 seasons. They hire Frank Reich. They give him 11 games with the front office that's depleted basically your wide receiving core. Like, this is not a team that was supposed to be good this season, anyways. Like, what were you expecting out of this Panther team? Like,
it's not. It's which is why firing him makes no sense. But at the same time, and we talk about this all the time. The coach has to have a say in the personnel he's coaching. He didn't want Bryce Young. He wanted C.J. Stroud.
And just
but this is like a whole other thing. Like, the fact that Carolina traded up in the first place without a guy in mind, like they didn't know who they were going to take. You don't trade up and trade that kind of assets unless you know exactly who you're going to take, exactly when you got up there. It's been mismanaged from the beginning. And Frank Reich, you're probably lucky to be out of that situation. They're still going to have to pay you for 4 more seasons.
And you still get paid by the Colts.
Yeah, like Frank Reich is cashing checks, man. Actually, I don't think he gets paid by the Colts anymore because he
still gets paid by the Colts.
But yeah, it was a rash decision. Like, Carolina, like, the best case scenario of Carolina was like a 3-win team this season. They have 1 win, but you're not seeing any development out of Bryce Young. He's not getting better from week to week. Like, you'd love to see him get progressively better.
This how bad it is.
But they don't have an offensive line. They don't have weapons on the outside. Like, there's nothing in the cupboard for Bryce Young on this Carolina.
This how bad it is for Bryce Young, bro. You know who? Like, you know what gear his mom and dad rep when they go to Panther games? It ain't Panther gear.
Bama.
Showing it up. Bama. They like, my son finna be associated with winning somehow, shape, or form. We finna throw on all old Bama gear.
Yeah. Any other thoughts before we move on from this game?
Like, again, just this one. Bears fans, y'all still think we should have took Bryce Young? Just throwing it up there.
Moving on from that situation, from another team in the NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Indianapolis Colts, 27-20. This is actually a fairly entertaining game. I had to watch this all the way through. It was the only game on TV here in Fort Wayne yesterday. Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rashad White went over the century mark. Mike Evans, 2 touchdowns for him. And Gardner Minshew was good in spurts in this game and really not good in other spurts. 24-41, 1 interception. I think he had a fumble in this game as well. Jonathan Taylor, 15 carries for 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew also had a very impressive touchdown for him as he kind of like sideswept the defender and then kind of got into the end zone. Michael Pittman went over the century mark for the Indianapolis Colts as they are shockingly at 6-5 and would be a playoff team if they started today.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane because you thought after Anthony Richardson went down that it was going to kind of be a resetting year. They were just going to kind of coast along, but they play hard for Shane Steichen. Yeah, that's all you can ask for. Just leaving it all on the field and showing that you want to play for your head coach. Tampa, first, Mike Evans is a grown man, and it really doesn't matter. Like he a grown man, TJ. You know I'm right.
Yeah, it's like, talk about a guy who's had
level,
a slew of quarterbacks.
Mike Evans, there's levels to this, right? And I mean, it doesn't look. Brucey from the longest yard could throw on the ball, and he would have 1,000 yards receiving. That's how damn good he is. But
could potentially be a first ballot Hall of Famer when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 8 or 9 straight years. I think every year.
Every year he's in the league.
1,000 yards.
Yeah,
he's not had one season where he didn't. Even with a carousel of quarterbacks at the.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you talk about a guy who's had a slew of quarterbacks throwing him the ball, hey, they smart enough to know one thing: get the ball to 13.
I think Josh Freeman throwing touchdowns to him at one point.
That is like
Josh Freeman.
Seriously. Like
Josh Freeman has been in the NFL.
Yeah, but overall, looking at this game, Tampa's defense loss is one for them because what does Todd Bowles like to do most out of any other coach in the league? Blitz. You either live by the blitz or you die by the blitz. And look, the blitz bit them in the ass yesterday. The Colts, they were able to run that football, establish Jonathan Taylor, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor looked like Jonathan Taylor in this game.
TJ, and we can go to the next game.
Moving on from this game, we get the battle between the AFC East and the NFC East as the New York Football Giants put up 10 points to New England 7. Mac Jones threw 2 interceptions, and Bailey Zappi came in. Did not play any better with another interception. Ramondre Stevenson, the lone bright spot for the Patriots in this game, as he had 98 yards rushing and a touchdown. Demario Davis continues to have a solid rookie season with 6 for 49. On the other side, Tommy DeVito just did enough to not screw it up. He threw a touchdown. He was 17-25. Saquon Barkley, 12 for 46. And Jalen Hyatt, 5 for 109. First game with over 100 yards receiving for Jalen Hyatt. Shout out to him. Congratulations. Tommy DeVito also had 2 fumbles and lost one of them in this game.
Yeah, he got sacked 6 times. Hey, New England fans, the Patriot way, his name was Tom Brady. Just throwing that out there. His name was Tom Brady. It's official. I think we can kill the whole who was more important during those Super Bowl runs between Belichick and Tom Brady. I think those conversations are over with now. Mostly for the simple fact that Belichick's record with Tom Brady, just look at those. Look at his record with Tom and look at it without Tom. he's a completely different head coach without Tom Brady. It's also starting to. It's sad. It looks like the game has passed him by. His coaching staff is full of nepotism. Like I think two of his sons are on the staff, and
they are. I think one of them might be the defensive coordinator.
It's just not a like it's Bob Kraft. Hey man, you got to do the damn thing, man. You got to go to him and say you either a GM or you a coach. And let's be honest, on the GM tip, you ain't been good at that recently either.
He's swung and missed at draft picks. I mean, they have no quarterback situation, no wide receivers.
His two All Pros that he's found, like his two Pro Bowls, All Pros, whatever it is. One of them's a kicker. One of them's a kicker. I mean, it's just not good. Mac Jones, the best thing for him is probably getting the hell out of there. Like seriously,
the dude needs a fresh start, real bad. Christian.
Yeah, this game went exactly as I thought it would. Just straight ugly. Look, it was a defensive slugfest, and New England had a chance to tie this game, but that was just a microcosm of what their entire season. Look, that's a microcosm of what their entire season has been all year long. Good win for the Giants.
Yeah, Giants played hard. They lost every important metric in this game and still won the game. So
still won.
Them. Like the only metric they didn't lose was turnovers. they only had one
and shout out Mama DeVito for the chicken cutlets.
That's true. Moving on from this game, one of the more entertaining games of the weekend, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going into NRG Bank Stadium and beating the Houston Texans 24-21. Trevor Lawrence played pretty good in this game, including a rushing touchdown and one touchdown, one interception. Travis Etienne 20 for 56. Calvin Ridley 5 for 89 and a tut. CJ Stroud continues his strong rookie season, where people have him sort of low-key in the MVP conversation. 2 touchdowns for him. He also had a rushing touchdown, and Nico Collins and Tank Dell both had receiving touchdowns for the Texans.
Yeah, again, the whole Stroud for MVP. If a dude wins MVP at 6-5, just throw the whole award away.
Yeah, no, he's not actually going to win it, but he had some buzz around him.
David, here's the thing. I know he's not going to win it. It's the fact that they're talking about him winning it is what pisses me off.
I mean, in a season where there hasn't been particularly strong quarterback play and no particularly strong play at any other position, I mean, it's not crazy. Like CJ Stroud was a candidate to be the MVP. Like if they went out, like if Texans went on a run and won out, I think you can make the argument CJ Stroud could have been the MVP.
That's a different story because them winning out means Jacksonville has to do some losing, which means they win Houston likely wins the division.
Yeah, I mean, but that's was possible up until yesterday. If Matthew Amendola had made the 58-yard field goal, who knows?
Like that's different than him just if because that was the whole hypothetical behind the if they do this and that. CJ, no, DeMeco Ryans is more likely to win Coach of the Year than CJ Stroud is to win MVP.
I think he might win Coach of the Year. If he can get this team to the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked if he won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I can't put that past him. And look, this is a great game. You look at Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley, they're going to be a problem for years to come. If they can stay together. I mean, it seemed like anywhere Calvin was, all Trevor had to do was just throw that ball in his vicinity, and he came down with it. I really thought Houston was about to come back and win this game because that's the one thing I will say about the Houston Texans. They do not give up.
Yeah, Sunshine.
TJ, you need to stop.
It's still not to David's point about the quarterback play. This is a down year for Sunshine. 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
I think that knee is really bothering him, TJ.
I don't want to hear stuff like that. Come on.
I really don't. I'm sorry. Like it could be true. It could be true. But again, when you are, and David can attest to this, because I've said it the whole time, like when you've been pegged as QB1 since you were 17 years old, I don't want to hear about what's hurting, who you're missing, because they got you in the Hall of Fame already. You just need to get there. If you're Trevor Lawrence, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that. So overcome it, Mister.
And this is a good win for Jacksonville as they continue to be. I think they're the number one seed in the AFC right now. Actually, I think Baltimore is actually with their victory. Before Baltimore's victory last night, they were the number one seed in the AFC. From this game, let's talk about a battle between the AFC West and the AFC North. The Denver Broncos beat down the Cleveland Browns. This is, I guess, before the Kansas City game as well. They beat down Cleveland Browns 29-12. DTR had a touchdown, but he got knocked out. What was a suspect roughing the passer call. PJ Walker came in, did not throw a touchdown. Jerome Ford, leading rusher for that team. David Njoku, leading receiver. Harrison Bryant caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Cleveland Browns. And Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos continue to win. I think this is 5 in a row. 13-22, 1 touchdown. Javonte Williams, 65 yards. Samaje Perine, Russell Wilson both had receiving touchdowns. And Adam Troutman caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Denver Broncos. So they win this game at home easily.
Christian.
His name is Russell. Last name Wilson. Look, I sing it when he's doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Like they, what's his name? I think it was Cortland Sutton. It was the win after who did they beat?
Minnesota.
It was the win last week against Minnesota. He sends out a Russell Wilson apology form. and folks are like, apologize for what? He was ass last year, bro. Like every critical thing that was said again about Russell Wilson last year was justified.
And like he has moments where he looks abysmal during this season. He just has miraculous moments where he pulls the rabbit out of his hat and wins games.
He
played a bad Browns team with their third string quarterback after he had knocked out DTR. PJ Walker, no offense to him, he's not a starting quarterback.
And every critical thing said about Russell Wilson prior to this win streak was justified. Yeah. The one thing I will say is this. The one positive thing I'll say is this. Through it all, through the terrible last season, through the terrible first half of this season, the one thing Russell Wilson has been, because like he doesn't have the luxury to be anything else, was professional. He never threw anybody under the bus. He took all blame, held himself accountable, and he's been what you want your franchise quarterback to be outside of, play good consistently.
His name is Russell. Last name Wilson.
Moving on.
Wait, real quick, David, real quick. Sean Payton. Outside of the obvious, Sean Payton is the main reason why Matt Eberflus is going to get fired.
100%.
Couldn't agree with you.
Same thing with the dude in Minnesota.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah. Like the fact that all three of those teams were 1-5 or 1-4 at one point, and the Minnesota Vikings and it turned it around, and the Bears are still making bad coaching decisions over and over again. Moving on from this game, we got the Los Angeles Rams going into the Big Toaster, winning this game pretty handily as well, 37-14. Matthew Stafford threw 4 touchdowns in this game. Kyron Williams ran for 143 yards in this game. He also had 2 receiving yards touchdowns, and so did Tyler Higbee. Kyler Murray, 1 touchdown for him. James Conner, 6 for 27. Marquise Brown, 6 for 88. And Greg Dortch caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals as they just get beat down in their own house by the Los Angeles Rams as they keep their slim playoffs hopes alive with this victory.
Yeah, Christian, we know a guy that said when Kyler Murray come back, hey, the league in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have the complementary weapons in Arizona to be anything.
David, that's not the point. He said when they get Kyler Murray back,
the league is in trouble. Me and TJ saw this with our own 2 next game.
But I also think this is one of those situations where we get good versus bad Rams teams. Like they play really well in this game, then they're going to throw up like an absolute clunker next week. So,
well, who they play next week?
I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Moving on from this game, we're going to swing into
the Browns. They play the Browns. They could beat the Browns.
Maybe. Swinging into the AFC West as the Kansas City Chiefs continue their dominance over the Las Vegas Raiders as they win this game 31-17. Patrick Mahomes 27-34, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco had 2 touchdowns. Rashee Rice has had a really solid rookie season. Goes over the century mark, also has a touchdown. Justin Watson continues to have touchdown. I think that's 2 weeks in a row for Mr. Watson. Aiden O'Connell, clearly not it at quarterback. 23 of 33, 1 touchdown. Josh Jacobs had his best game of the season, 110 yards and a touchdown. And Jacoby Myers caught that lone receiving touchdown for the Las Vegas Raiders as they fall to 5-7. And Antonio Pierce has now lost 2 games in a row.
The honeymoon's over. Honeymoon's over. I said that. Yeah. Like you played the Giants and I think the Jets, and you won both of those games. And it's like, all right, let's see how things go the next 2 weeks when you play the Dolphins and you play the Chiefs. And you were up 14-0 against the Chiefs early. And it's just like Kansas City was like, hold on, wait a minute. What the hell are we doing? Let's nip this in the bud. Next thing you know, it's 14-7. And then 6 minutes later, it's 14-all, and they never look back.
No game is over when Patrick Mahomes is involved in it. You gotta keep your foot on the gas for the entire game. And I think Rashee Rice, he's gonna have to be the X factor for the Chiefs during the stretch run because Mahomes just isn't gonna throw him the ball. Rice has to earn that.
They gotta earn that ball. I would like to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know what's happened to him. Like I don't know.
He's injury prone.
He got banged up, and I think he can't stay healthy. He's got knee problems. He wasn't good in this game either. 3 carries for 5 yards. But Isaiah Pacheco has been an absolute gem for this Kansas City Chiefs team. 6th-round pick last season.
Oh, absolutely. That goes without saying. The one thing I am surprised about is the Chiefs' defense, as dominant as they've been up front. They only got home to Aiden O'Connell 1 time. Like that's kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, and they only had 4 quarterback hits. I wonder if that has a lot to do with the fact that the Raiders ran the ball so much in this game. They had 23 carries. Yeah, so it could be just game flow kind of stuff. But
Josh Jacobs averaged 5.5 a carry.
Yeah.
Shit, when's the last time he ran for over 100 yards before this game?
This has got to be the only game, I think. I got him on my team.
Nah, say it.
My fantasy team. I got him on my fantasy team.
Fantasy.
I take it back. Fantasy football. He ran for 116 against the Jets. So
I remember that.
He has two 100-yard rushing games this season.
Moving on from there, let's just move on to the best game potentially of the entire season so far. The Buffalo Bills go into the Lincoln Financial Field and lose this game 37-34. Josh Allen, one of his better games of the season, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns as he led the team in rushing. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, both had receiving touchdowns in this game. On the other side, Jalen Hurts was fantastic in this game. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus all had receiving touchdowns. Also, if you've not seen the Olamide Zaccheaus touchdown, it is quite the spectacle. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One, I was supposed to go to this game, and I'm mad I didn't go. So I just want to get that out. 2, Buffalo played their best football until they didn't play their best football because in the first half, they dominated. Made the Eagles one-dimensional. They were getting after Hurts. They forced that turnover. They were running the ball. They were controlling things at the line of scrimmage. And then they got away from it. Football isn't won in 30 minutes. Football is won in 60 minutes. And the Bills had chances to execute while the Eagles just executed. That's the difference right there. And Buffalo shot themselves in the foot. They had so many opportunities, they didn't capitalize upon it. This is a big win for the Eagles. They continue to find ways to win football games. It hasn't looked pretty. but they're making it happen. They're 10-1.
Yeah, I think they won 5 games in a row where they were down at halftime. I think and that's 5 games in a row. Came back and won all 5 of those games. That's I don't think that's ever been done in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, you can say what you want about. Hold on. This whole notion of Josh Allen isn't a winner is very irritating to me. Because how many times have we seen him give his team the lead in the last 2 minutes of a game and his defense come up short?
But TJ,
twice in this game.
Yeah, but
twice he gave the lead in overtime and he gave the lead in the fourth quarter, and it required a heroic field goal from Jake Elliott, 60 yards.
But look, you guys know the easy thing to do in football is to do what when things go wrong? Point fingers at the quarterback. He's a scapegoat, unfortunately.
Well, if Buffalo doesn't turn this season around, he will not be the scapegoat. Sean McDermott will be out of his job.
Oh, look, Buffalo's not making the playoffs.
He's 0-6. Like they want to say he's 0-6, and like no, the Bills as a team, and this is my biggest pet peeve, and y'all know it. Like when the quarterback, like when teams win, the quarterback gets all the praise, but when they lose, they get all the blame. Rarely, depends on the quarterback, depends on if they like it. And this is like the Bills are 0-6, including the playoffs. Since Josh Allen's been the quarterback, a couple of those games, I'm pretty sure he didn't get a chance to touch the ball. Right, the one they always bring up is the AFC Championship game against Kansas City, where he didn't even touch the ball, and they changed the rule because of that, because that game was so damn good. Again, this notion of Josh Allen's not a winner. No, I did my job. I got you the lead twice, as David pointed out, twice. All my defense has to do is get a stop. Another thing, that's a horse. Like when he gets slung down to the ground, but you grab the front of his bro. That's a horse collar. Eagles.
Yeah, fans, but they don't call penalties for the Eagles.
Eagles fans talking about read the rule book. That's a horse collar.
On top of that, like how did they consider that even a pass attempt? And it looked like what's his name was like in the vicinity of where Josh Allen threw it. Like that looked like a fumble, and it looked like it should have been returned to where it shouldn't be a loss of it was. Bad officiating in this game all around.
Because guess what happened after that? You ruled that intentional grounding. You backed them up. 15 yards? And then all of a sudden, Jordan Davis. No, I think it was either Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter. One of those two. You blocked the field goal. Guess what happens if that field goal isn't blocked? You win this game.
Yeah.
There is no overtime. You win this game.
Well, because Buffalo did get that ball back immediately and throw a touchdown right after that.
But that's null and void. I'm just saying because if they kick this field goal, if they get this field goal, we don't know they get the ball back and score a touchdown. That's what I'm saying. Also, again be consistent. Me and Izzy was talking about it in the group chat. I've seen that AJ Brown play called a fumble time and time again, and the play stand. Be consistent with that. You cannot say like I've seen that.
I do not think it was a catch, but. I have seen it called both ways, and it just needs to be a little more consistent. But I didn't think it was a catch and a fumble. I thought it was an incomplete pass. Like
I've seen that called a catch, fumble, recovered by the other team. That's game over. I've seen that called both ways. Like it's miraculous how it's like no, like again, why have a rule book if the rules are just going to be open for interpretation and differ from official to official? Like, what's the point?
Let's also not pretend like Buffalo couldn't still make the playoffs. The teams that are ahead of them are the Colts, Texans, and Broncos. They could all 3 of those teams could easily go on losing streaks, and Buffalo could be right back in it. They're 6-6. They're not 3-5. Like, come on.
It's not like
and they have their bye this week, so they get a chance to actually rest some of their players.
Do you see who they play after the bye?
Right,
I know it's tough.
You get Kansas City. The easiest team on the remaining schedule. I'm not counting the Patriots. I'm not counting that. I'm not counting
the Dolphins. I guess the Chargers.
The Chargers. Yeah. That's the easiest. Like everybody. Like, come on, man. Like I fully expect the Patriots and the Bears to be doing business for that number 1 overall pick. That's just me.
Moving on from that game, let's talk about Sunday Night Football as the Baltimore Ravens go into beautiful SoFi Stadium, doubled up the Chargers 20-10. Lamar Jackson threw a touchdown. Keaton Mitchell had an excellent game, 64 yards. Zay Flowers had a rushing touchdown. Probably should have slid down, but whatever, it is what it is. Zay Likely 4 for 40, and Zay Flowers had the lone receiving touchdown.
If he don't get the hell out of here with that toss the bouquet.
Yeah, he got to see me. I'm sorry.
And Justin Herbert, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had a very costly fumble in this game. So did Keenan Allen. So did Austin Eckler. Keenan Allen had 14 catches for 106 yards, and Austin Eckler had 10 for 32. Justin Herbert was the leading rusher for the Chargers, as this basically put it as the death nail of the Chargers season. I don't see a chance that they recover from this. Brandon Staley, I'm shocked he still has his job as of 8:05 p.m. here at Eastern Standard Time.
That reminds me. Look, that reminds me when I first started working with you guys. Every time David would talk about the Jets and Adam Gase, he'd look at his watch. So, is this what we're gonna do now with Brandon Staley?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fun. Is it fun? Ain't it fun? It's fun to me. It's hilarious.
Look, I love it. If you like it, I love it.
I know what that means. I know what that means. I know what that really means. I know what that really means.
Listen. Zay Flowers got to come and see me for that. Yeah. Did you see the look on Lamar's face?
Yeah.
like Lamar was like, "Yo, like
you're doing too much, man."
Oh man.
See, nephew don't like it.
Even the dog's having a bad time. But I mean, this is one of those games where the Chargers constantly got in position to punch in points, and either for one reason or another they were unable to score. Two of drives that they were in like the red zone area ended up with fumbles, and they ended up losing the football. One was an interception, one was a fumble by Justin Herbert. This defense of the Chargers just isn't good. They were better in this game than they have been in weeks past. They didn't give up 40 points in this game, at least. But this is a Chargers team that is going to need a whole new coaching staff when this season's over.
The one thing I didn't like from this game is, that should have been like 1st and goal. Justin Herbert got hit late. Like that was a late hit. That was a late hit out of bounds.
There would have been offsetting penalties, but instead, it's basically a drive killer.
Yeah, I'm like, how the hell do you call unsportsmanlike? No, it got called unsportsmanlike conduct on Gerald Everett.
Yeah,
for sticking up for his guy. But I'm like,
it was one of their offensive linemen. It wasn't Jared Everett, but it was
that's
the same idea.
Same idea, but it's like how do you not establish that as a late hit out of bounds or whatever you want to call it? I think it was NFL Live. It was one of the shows. It was one of them. Adam Schefter was on. He was like, he expects at least, he said 7 to 10 firings, new coaching openings this offseason. That's about average. I think seven's the average. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me one iota if 10 coaches lost their jobs.
I wouldn't be surprised if half the league is looking for a new head coach after the season's over.
Because and if I could, because there's really nothing to talk about this game. The Baltimore Ravens look like the team to beat coming out of the AFC. This is probably going to be the first time ever in Pat Mahomes' career that he has a road playoff game in some way, shape, or form. So if I could, David, if you could entertain this real quick. Like I said, Frank Reich's already gone. Todd Bowles, Dennis Allen, what's his name in Atlanta? Arthur Smith. Is that it? Yeah. That's 4. The obvious in Chicago. Eberflus is 5.
Kevin Stefanski potentially in Cleveland.
8.
Robert Saleh, Bill Belichick,
9,
Sean McDermott.
That's 11.
Whoever. Brandon Staley for sure.
Josh
McDaniels has already been fired. Brian Daboll, I do not think will be fired, but
I forgot all about Josh McDaniels. So we got 2 firings already. That means
Riverboat Ron is for sure, I think, out there in Washington.
That's 13.
I think Sean McVay may walk away after this season.
That's different. That's retiring, not a fire.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel potentially could be out in Tennessee.
Yeah, because if Belichick goes, watch, the Patriots are going to try and hire Mike Vrabel. I'm calling it right now.
That's so.
I mean, we could legit have half of the league potentially looking for a new coach next season after this season's over.
So
If things go south in Dallas and they reach their potential, Mike McCarthy could be out there.
So Christian, no, Jerry ain't doing that one. No.
Maybe they'll bring Jimmy Johnson back in. He's going to put him in the Ring of Honor, make him the head coach.
Look how long it took him to fire Jason Garrett, bro. Like he is not going to fire. He is not going to fire
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. But Christian, I don't know if you were listening, but we named 14 possible head coaching openings. This going into this house. That's got to be some kind of record because I brought up Adam Schefter. I forgot which show he was on earlier, but he said he expects 7 to 10 new openings. 7's the average, and we've already had 2 firings.
Yeah,
we already had 2. So the other 9, maybe, or just to stick with the average, right? Eberflus in Chicago. I said all 4 guys from the NFC South is gone.
That would be crazy if all 4 coaches from one division all got pink slips. That would be absolutely insane.
And it might be a first. I've never seen that. Like I legit never seen that.
I've never seen that happen.
Well, we're all about making records here in the NFL. But yeah, we got only a few minutes here before the start of Monday Night Football. There's not a lot to talk about when it comes to the Chargers. I think they're going to be out of a head coach here shortly.
Oh, and Chris, I also said this about the Sunday night game. Ravens a team to beat coming out the AFC. Agree or disagree? He took too long. He disagreed.
I disagree. No, I disagree. I really do.
I think so. I think until somebody takes down Kansas City, they're still the team to beat in the AFC.
Exactly.
Until I see it, I gotta see it. But yeah, we're about a couple minutes here from the kickoff of Monday Night Football. Thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm of course your host, David On Fight Huffman, co-host TJ Hopkins, and from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. And before we get up out of here, who do you got tonight? We got Bears, Vikings.
Well,
going Bears, and I need 40 points from DJ Moore.
Packer fans and Lions fans, they praying for a Bears victory. See, well, obviously Detroit, if you did your job on Thanksgiving, you know what you wouldn't be doing? Cheering for the Bears right now. Just throwing it out.
Tough. But yeah, and on top of that, gentlemen, what we do here at the Prime, my friends,
let's sip some of this purple drink.
And we bring in the heat, baby, because we need it here. It's 20 degrees here in Fort Wayne right now.
Oh yeah, you can have that. You can have that.
What is it in New York?
It's coming your way. It's coming your way.
No, the hell it's not. It's 48 and sunny.
Yeah, it was 48 and sunny here like on Friday. So good luck.
Look, y'all can have that. I'm good.
It's gonna be freezing cold there tomorrow. I promise you.
Man,
you guys all have.
Look, and I'm gonna come. I'm gonna see you. I promise you. Your ass going to Gay Grandy's house for wishing that bad. Don't do that.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night. Go Bears, baby. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.
Yeah,